Proofs, special angles. The congruent complements theorem prove that angles which are complementary to the same angle are congruent. Given that angle 1 and angle 2 are complementary, and that angle 1 and angle 3 are complementary, prove that angle 2 is complementary to angle 3. What's the first step in the proof? What's its reason? Alright, our first statement is what's given. So we just take these statements, put them here, and the reason is given. What's next? What do we know about the sum of the measures of complementary angles? Alright, if angle 1 and angle 2 are complementary, that means that the measures of those two angles add up to 90 degrees. And we can do the same thing for angles 1 and 3. That's the definition of complementary angles. If both of the equations above equal 90 degrees, how are they related to each other? What's the reason? Because both of these equations equal 90 degrees, we can set them equal to each other. So we can write the measurement of angle 1 plus the measurement of angle 2 equals the measurement of angle 1 plus the measurement of angle 3, and that's substitution. What's next? Hint, look to what we're trying to prove. And finally, we subtract the measurement of angle 1 from both sides of this equation because of the subtraction property of equality, and that gives us the measurement of angle 2 equals the measurement of angle 3. Therefore, angle 2 is congruent to angle 3 because, by agreement, if the measurement of these two angles are equal, then the angles themselves are congruent. Given that angle 1 and 2 are supplementary and angles 1 and 3 are supplementary, prove that the measurement of angle 2 equals the measurement of angle 3. Alright, so we start with our given statements. 1 and 3 are supplementary, 1 and 2 are supplementary, and those are given. Now the definition of supplementary angles states that these angles are then going to add up to 180. So the measurements of angles 1 and 2 equal 180, and the measurements of angles 1 and 3 add up to 180, and that's the definition of supplementary angles. Because these two expressions both equal 180, we can set them equal to each other. So here we have those expressions equal to each other now, and that is substitution. And then we can subtract the measurement of angle 1 from both sides, and we are left with the measurement of angle 2 equals the measurement of angle 3, and that is because of subtraction. Here is the full proof from the previous slide that shows the congruent supplements theorem. Here is our current library of theorems. Adjacent complementary angles form a right angle. Two angles that form a linear pair are supplementary. Vertical angles are congruent. All right angles are congruent. Perpendicular lines form congruent adjacent angles. If two lines form congruent adjacent angles, then the lines are perpendicular. The common segment theorem, the common angle theorem, angles complementary to the same angle are congruent. Angles supplementary to the same angle are congruent. Problem solving. With postulates, definitions, and theorems, we are now prepared to solve a lot of geometry problems. So here we have an example. Given the measurement of angle ABC equals 55 degrees, solve for x and y. Note, this is not a proof. We are simply asked to use the postulates, definitions, and theorems to solve for unknowns. Alright, so we know that x plus 55 equals 180 degrees because that's the definition of supplementary angles. Therefore, x equals 125 degrees. Then, by the vertical angle theorem, we know that y equals 55 degrees because y is a vertical angle to angle ABC. Determine the measurements of angles 1, 2, and 3. Justify each. Alright, let's start here. So we have our diagram. This angle is 36 degrees, which means that this angle is 144 degrees because when you add 36 and 144, you get 180 because linear pair angles are supplementary. Moving on, angle 2 here equals 36 degrees because vertical angles are congruent. And then finally, the measurement of angle 1 equals the measurement of angle 3 because those are also vertical angles and they're congruent. Therefore, the measurement of angle 3 is 144 degrees.